about the imagery and then the 6 types of imagery. But today we will discuss about the figures of speech. Figure of speech or figurative language is a literary device that creates images in the mind of the reader or listener. So, more on ito sa imaginations natin. To add color and interest and awaken the imagination. So, using figures of speech, nagkakaroon ng mas interesting story or mas nagiging interesting yung mga ginagawa nating masterpiece. So, figurative language means something different from what is says on the surface. For example, may nakita kang isang bato, but then you will use figurative language para mas maging different yung bagay na yun. Parang at the back of that story ay meron pang isang mas interesting na istorya about doon. So we have here the alliteration for the figures of speech. So when we say alliteration, it is the repetition of an initial consonant sound. Again, alliteration, repetition of initial consonant sound. Again, consonant, initial. So doon sa unang part o sa unang letter ay consonant. For example, she sells seashells by the seashore. So that is alliteration. Nabubulol ako. She sells seashells by the seashores. So ano dyan yung mga nauulit? It is the S. So that is the initial consonant sound, which is the alliteration. Next, for the second one, we have the anaphora. It is the repetition of the same word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses or verses. Again, repetition of the same word or phrases. For example, unfortunately, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time on the wrong day. So, ano dyan yung naulit na word? Wrong. The word wrong. It is located at the beginning of successive clauses or verses. Nauulit siya sa bawat simula ng mga clauses. For example, I was in the wrong place. Wrong place. Wrong time, wrong day. So that is anaphora. Next, the antithesis. When you say antithesis, the juxtaposition of contrasting ideas in balanced phrases. For example, as Abraham Lincoln said, folks who have no vices have very few virtues. So, ano dyan yung contrasting ideas? The phrases, no vices, and then few virtues. Let us think about it. Pag no vices, diba, sila pa yung mga taong disiplinado. But then, sabi dito, sila pa yung may few na virtues. So, nagkakaroon ng contrasting ideas. Next, we have the apostrophe. Directly addressing a non-existent person or an inanimate object as though it were a living being. For example, oh, you stupid car. You never work when I need you to. So, saan nakikipag-usap si Bert? Sa car. Is it a living being? Is it a person? Of course, no. But then, Bert is addressing to a non-existent person or an inanimate object. So that is what we call apostrophe. Next is we have the assonance. Identity or similarity in sound between internal vowels in neighboring words. How now? How now, brown cow? So, ano dyan yung naulit? Sabi, similarity in sound. So, nagkakaroon na pagkakapare-pareho sa sound between internal vowels, sa pagitan ng mga vowels sa magkakatabing salita. For example, how now. Andoon yung H and then yung W. How now. Similarity in sound. So, i-review natin ulit yung 5. So, we have the alliteration for the initial consonant sound. We have the anaphora for the repetition of same word for the beginning of the successive clauses. And then we have the anastasis for the contrasting ideas. And then we have the apostrophe para dun sa mga non-existent person o mga hindi tao, not a living being. And then we have next is the assonance, similarity in sound. Okay, next for number 6 is we have what we call the chiasmus. It is a verbal pattern in which initial vowel, a verbal pattern in which the second half of an expression is balanced against the phrase but with the parts reversed. Again, a verbal pattern in which the second half of an expression is balanced against the phrase but with parts reversed. Ibig sabihin, yung second half and then yung phrase ang titignan natin. For example, the famous chef said people should live to eat, not eat to live. So, ano yung pagkakaiba nitong dalawa? So, yung part na should live to eat and then not eat to live ay pinagbaliktad yung parts. But then again, ano yung mapapansin natin dito? The sentence is still correct. Sabi dito, ang mga tao daw ay dapat nabubuhay para makakain, hindi ang pagkain para mabuhay. So, balance siya, and then yung first is against the second. So, dyan papasok yung chiasmus. And then next, we have the euphemism. Ano sa euphemism? The substitution of an inoffensive term for one considered offensively explicit. Ito lang yung parang negative siya, but then hindi mo siya literary or directly sasabihin negative. For example, we're teaching our toddler how to go potty. Bad said. So, dyan, ano dyan yung substitution ng inoffensive term? Yung word na toddler. Kasi pag sinabi nating toddler, yun yung mga baby, and how to go potty. And then next we have the hyperbole. Ano sa hyperbole? An extravagant statement, the use of exaggerated terms for the purpose of emphasis or heightened effect. Ito yung ma-exaggerated. For example, I have a ton of things to do when I get home. Kung tutusin, marami lang siyang gagawin. Pero when we say a ton, sobrang dami na nun. Tulad natin, makala natin sobrang hirap na, pero hindi naman pala talaga. We're just exaggerating things. Okay? I-review natin yung 8. So, we have the alliteration for the repetition of initial sound, consonant sound. For the anaphora, we'll have the repetition of the same word or phrases. The antithesis, the contrasting balanced phrases. We have the apostrophe for the inanimate object, though hindi naman sila living being. We have the assonance, the similarity in sound between internal vowels. We have the chiasmus, yung expression na against doon sa una, and then the second half. And then we have the euphemism para doon sa mga inoffensive term, pinapalitan natin. And then we have the hyperbole, the exaggerated terms.